Hi, welcome. On this video, I'd like to take a minute to discuss why it is that I prefer to do training based on an individualized approach versus group training, based on focus and meeting dog owners' expectations and as it relates to meaningful change and results. Now, I've done group training in the past. However, coming to a point of really getting to a place of of focus and really seeing training a certain way, I really shy away from doing group type of situations other than a workshop-based type of training, which is different than, say, doing it in a group of people seeking to have change happen based on X number of sessions, whereas a workshop is more less structured. It's more for people like showing up to get information, and so you're not getting into this thing with that type of a training environment. It's a different type of training environment. So when you get into this training environment that represents group training for dogs and owners, what can happen is, and this oftentimes is the case, you're trying to kind of weed out dogs that have more serious behavioral issues such as aggression. It really becomes very problematic because what can happen is your focus is really not there where it needs to be. And what will happen is you'll always get owners that need more help than other owners, and so what will happen is people will end up kind of being discouraged because they're not getting that level of training that they want or they're seeking based on trying to make it all fit. Now, the attractive thing with group training for trainers is that generally they can make more money because how it's being packaged up. You're doing an hour or so with a group of, say, 10 people or whatever. So the incentive to do it is there for trainers to want to do that. However, typically you get that type of situation happening, and on the other side with the with the owners, they're seeking out more of an economical way to do training as well. So they're seeking to, so it's kind of a win-win on both sides. But what I found is not always a win at all for the dogs and owners in the end, because, again, seeing training for what it really is, it's a relational changing process. You need to have a right focus. You need to really be there to be able to focus in and have that level of individual attention to change how people think. You really need for it not to be scattered out that way, because oftentimes you just are not able to focus in that way to really follow up and really do a one-on-one type of focus that's really going to create results for people. So typically, again, I stay away from the group training just so people understand why. It's about being comfortable with and being really confident in knowing that regardless of how difficult the situation is, that you can go into it and really walk away with a great session, great results, and with the owner feeling really good about it. So, and that in the end, that's what really matters. So, although individual approach may cost people a little bit more, in the end, I encourage people to really consider an individualized approach, because really, you're going to come out way ahead. You may spend a little bit more money, but in the end, you're going to have a much better result. And again, if you engage in this group training, what can happen is you could, go through a group type of situation and still end up having to go and get individualized training because the results are just not there, and that's very common. So better to go into training if you need help, understanding that it's better to seek out training at a one-on-one or a more individualized approach. So anyway, thanks for watching.